Hi everyone, this video that you're about to watch is not to encourage this divorce. So I'm putting this disclaimer out there for anyone that will come across this video.
So this video, just as she said, is to encourage women to understand your role, to know your capacity, and understand that you have to work together with your husband in fulfilling the mandate of a marriage. When you are extending beyond your capacity, understand when to watch and when to watch.
And when
Watch
to
out.
say no.
Yeah, when to say no and when to say it is enough. God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Hi everyone, my name is Abisola Bubawo, a certified relationship and life coach. I have here with me.
Yeah, Miss Boju Babalola. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
you.
I
want us to have a conversation. A particular woman asked me why is it a thing for a woman to be responsible to hold down marriage, to keep a home. I mean, in the sense that, our parents have made us realize that we have to do this as a woman, you have to do this as a woman, you have to do that. And we feel like all the responsibility, the burden is on us. So why must it be a woman doing extra to make marriage work?
Okay, thank you so much. For me, I really think that it's beyond parents that made us to realize that we have to keep the home. The culture has made us to think so. The church even has made us to think so. Even our relatives have made us to think so that when you enter into marriage, just make it work. When you come back, that means you're the problem. That means you didn't keep your home. So there's so many things that are attached to this. This is a very huge question. And the truth is, we would be able to respond to it from the side that you're looking at it. It has different views, and we might not have the right answer, but it depends on where you are looking at it and where you're coming from. So we have women in different circumstances. So let's say, for example, you have a woman in a home that the husband wanted to work, she also wanted to work. So both of them understand their responsibility, that this is a marriage, and marriage is a coming together of two people to build a home. And when we talk about building, you don't see a building that is done by one person. You can only see one person cannot be the foreman, where you are the one that carries the blocks, you are the one that makes that buys, purchase everything. You're going to weary out, right? You're going to be tired. So when we are building a place, it's a collective work. It's a responsibility of a lot of people. So in the terms of marriage, this work is for two persons. And by the time you have children as well, also children will also contribute to the building. So it's not one person. So when we have these people that have accepted this responsibility, that we have to build this home together, then it works. Then we have another category of people that the husband is just laid back and just feels it is your responsibility to make it work. Then you just accept me the way I am. You just be the best in the marriage, right?
Yeah, I want to talk about that too. Why do men feel like we have to accept them for who they are, and they are not ready to work on themselves? Like they will say, "This is how I talk." If they are the type that yells, and I'm like, "Why do you yell at me? This is how I talk. Don't you see? My people knows me. This is how I talk." But you want me to condole that? You want me to endure that? And I feel like women feel like if I don't do that, they say I disobeyed my husband. They say I'm not submissive. They say I'm not being respectful. And I think that contributes to a woman wanting to make the marriage work regardless, because people already know that my husband is a loud talker. He yells. So if I start complaining, they will say, "Is that new?" You know how people commonize your problem, like as if they don't make beauty out of it. Why are you making beauty out of this thing? But I'm the one that stays in the home with this person. You just see him for 1 hour at most. But I live with this person.
And you understand him.
Yes.
Well, I feel that that particular question scenario actually applies to both women and men. Okay, we women also would say that you should understand me, you should know me, and you should accept me. So you saw me the way I am, and you married me. You made that decision to go ahead. So you know, marriage, the truth is like a box. that you pick from the shop, you know. You don't really know everything that is in it until you get into the marriage. So when you get into the marriage, you start bringing it out. That's when you see that, so when he's angry, he throw things. So when she's angry, she can break the TV, you know. So it is when you get into the marriage that some things begin to unfold. Actually, the thing is, marriage is about acceptance. For me, if you have decided to come into a marriage, right, it's because you made a decision for commitment, right? Marriage for me is a commitment. Actually, there are some commitments that are neck breaking that you would feel like, oh, this one is killing me. And I would always submit, if you think that your marriage is snuffing life out of you, then you need to check it out, right? Are you giving too much? Is your partner not giving at all? So in terms of you say, accept me the way I am, it should be both parties. We should work on ourselves. The fact that you are not Jesus Christ, He's only Jesus Christ is as He is yesterday, today, He is forevermore. As individual, God made us relational being. We need to change. We need to transcend. We can get better. We need to work on ourselves. You can't get to a working place and they say you are not performing well, and you say, because this is me, this is how I behave, and they will sack you from there. But because you are in a marriage, you feel that this woman will not go anywhere, this man cannot go anywhere. You just behave anyhow. No. When you come into a marriage, let us work it together. Okay, this is how I am, but what can I do to make my spouse happy? When we have the what would I say, I don't know the right word to use, and we have our partner in mind to make him happy and be fulfilled in the marriage, we will work together. So for me, I feel that it is not only the responsibility of a woman to make the marriage work. It is both responsibility. But some women come into a marriage and let the man feel that you have no responsibility, I own the responsibility. So when you make a man see that you are the macho in the home, every man wants a macho woman that wants to bear everything.
Now I want to come in with that. And I think I'd like the fact that you have made mention of the factors that make some women feel like they have to make their marriage work. For example, our culture, you see our mothers do so much. And I think that sometimes we don't know that we have inculcated those things until you enter marriage. I will use myself as an example. I like an independent woman. I feel like I'm responsible for my children. I have to take care of them. I'm responsible for everything that has to do with my children, buy them clothes and all of that, cook, shower them, take them to school, bring them back. I felt like it's my role as a woman to do. But my husband made me realize, he didn't verbalize it, but his action make me know that we bet them together. You understand? So I have to realize at that moment that, it's okay for him also to help. I tell you, that's how I viewed that my role should be, because that's how our culture and our parents have helped us to realize that, when it comes to the house, I have to clean, I have to do this. And my husband consciously will tell me that, no, if I'm in the house, I can do this. If I'm in the house, and I think it's not fair for any woman because that's how we are raised. A marriage should make you a better person. So the kind of spouse you now marry should help you realize that you can't do everything. So he made me realize that I can't be doing all of this and I remain sane. I have to share part of the body.
You see, this topic is so deep, and as you're talking, I'm trying to just engage my brain, and I'm thinking that this is so broad. You're talking about your husband saying, "Oh, you are not," because our culture shaping us, right? Unconsciously, unintentionally, we are shaped by our environment, by where we were birthed and everything. But marriage brings people from different backgrounds, right? He came from another background that he feels, and you came from different setting of your home. You know, he might be the place where the father comes in and assists the woman. That's where he grew up. And that's what he expects that he will do when it comes to marriage. You come a phase where your mother does everything. And that is what you have already, feel that this is my responsibility. And he actually surprised that, why is my woman doing all those things. So because he's coming from that angle, it makes you see that it is wrong. But a man that also came from that kind of background that you came from will feel that you are doing the right thing, and he will relax. And that is the truth. It will relax. And definitely, even though you feel it's your responsibility, it's burdening you. Even though you think that it is your responsibility to wash the plate, to take the kids, you are overwhelmed.
And sometimes you don't even realize that you're overwhelmed.
You are.
Because, for example, we started with one child, right? And before you know it, we are now growing.
You will grow
in terms of numbers. Now I have to take care of 6 people. And before it was like 2, 3, and before you know it, it's 6, and you are now burdened. And then I feel like,
so imagine yourself still responsible, doing everything, washing plates, taking them to school, bringing them back, cooking. On Sunday, you both go to church, you both come down. Somebody is saying, okay, where's the food again? And the next day, you see, gone are the days where, when our mothers were growing up, it was a time where even for consensual relationship with the husband and wife, it's a time where the fathers will say, Mama Bombo, lie down. You know, there is
it's our right.
It's your right. Like, you enter that room and you're just going there. It's no more like that. And we need to realize that we are as the world is evolving, we also were evolving, and the husband must seek to support. Right, we are not only like biased here, because what we are saying actually also, we've seen men that they are the one that are actually responsible for the house.
We'll talk about those ones later. But right now, let's just, because I feel like
more on the women.
Yes, to be candid, in my history of dealing with couples and people that are struggling in marriage, I feel like women always see why they should keep their marriage. Some will say, my mom had a failed marriage, I don't want to have a failed marriage. And I think that their husband knows that, and they use that to punish them, because that's the weapon they use in making sure that I know she's not going to go anywhere, because she doesn't want to end up like a mom.
This thing is, so deep, right?
Yes,
I can remember a story of a woman, a lady that had issues with, her mother had problem with her marriage, and she was trying to avoid such a thing. Even when she was at the university, she went into an abusive relationship, verbally abusive and visually abusive, that the guy was even beating her and doing everything. And they got married. And while when they got into the marriage, she was also talking to the pastor's wife. And the pastor's wife was like, okay, you just have to make it work. You just have to make it work. You can't say it. How would you say it in the church that your choir leader, what's happening in your home, what's going to happen? You just have to make it up. And the worst that happened was the fact that he is a guy that he has a fit of anger, that he throws things every time he's angry. And what actually happened at the end of the day was the fact that she was frying plantain actually in the kitchen, and she got a call from her brother. Not even like anybody, from her brother. And this happened like about 9 years ago. And she was actually receiving the call. Even the mother would say, stay, you know, just manage it, you know, just make it work. And while she was receiving that call, the guy came in and actually poured that oil on her with the plantain and everything. And that's where she actually passed on from there. And she left. You know, at the end of the day, who lost?
Yeah.
The only thing is that the man hasn't changed. He will still take on another woman, and that trend might continue.
Yeah.
You know, so we need to understand a caveat, when is a place to stop. When that you are in a marriage it's to help. It's a mutual thing. Then when you are giving your life out, then you need to check. You need to check, because you are not also helping purpose. You are not helping destiny when you are giving your life out. God makes you a nurturer, but you nurture, you are alive to nurture. You don't die in nurturing. When you give birth and what you birth is alive, and you, the nurturer, is no more, then there is no place to nurture. So we need to understand that in womanhood, as giving as we are, because women, we are naturally given. We are naturally given. We want, God gave us a womb and we want to birth. So while we are doing that, understand your place as a nurturer, that you need to stay alive to nurture. You need to be able to be in good health to nurture. If God has given you your home to nurture, given your children to nurture, given your husband to nurture, you need to be sound to occupy that position. So how are you maintaining your soundness, your sanity in your home? You need to know when is it time to say no, when is it time to say yes, when is it time to stop. Even our Bibles tells us, as a woman, fine, submit to your own husband. And it says, husband, love your wife as Christ loves the church. When we read this scripture, we don't put that part of as Christ loved the church. Love your wife, my wife, I love you. But how did Christ love? Christ loved by giving, by sacrificing, right? So if there is a place for a woman to submit, there is a place for a man to love. Love sacrificially and love givingly.
Yes.
Love in a way that you give all. Love in your entirety, that you are actually dead. Because he actually gave all.
Yeah.
He gave his entirety. And when you give your entirety, submission will be easy.
Say that again, man.
When you give love in your entirety, submission will be easy. So, because that is what Jesus gave. When I talk to people, like when the Bible says, while we were yet sinners, even he already wrote our sin off before he met us. Right? So when you are coming into marriage, you also know that you are coming to forgive in advance. Accept in advance, because that's the only way you can give. When Jesus, he said, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And these are types of sacrifice. He came and he came. When you think about this thing, it's so deep, right? Because we talk about God, the Son of the living God. He came in human form. That is also submission in love, right? Because
he left all the glory.
He left. He came and he was birthed by the woman, so that we won't say that, oh, well, Jesus, you don't understand this word.
How I feel.
I don't understand this word. He came and said, so I don't bamboozle me. I too, I came. I came through a man. And our experience, whatever. The Bible says he's not a man, a God that is subject to human frailties. He went through everything we might be thinking you're talking about emotions and everything. Jesus went through it. So he came in humility. So there's so many, those are the things that we need to learn from. If Jesus will leave glory and come down to be human, to die for us, and he says, husband, love your wife. Love your wife as Christ loves the church. It's a message on his own. How does Christ love the church? And woman, submit. And as a church as well, how do we submit to Jesus? In obedience, in reference. So these things, if we can walk with this perspective, sincerely, the home would be a better place.
So thank you so much, Mai. I really enjoyed that. And I just want to conclude. I want to give us our conclusion. Firstly, I would say it is not your job alone to make your marriage work.
Never.
Don't put that burden on yourself. It is not, if you've tried all you can and it's not working, please take a break from it. The Bible says in that Genesis, when God gave Adam and Eve, if he instructed Adam, Eve was not there when God gave all the instruction. And when they disobeyed God, do you know that God asked Adam first, have thou eaten the fruit which I said you should not eat? He knew it was Eve that gave him, but he had to ask Adam because he was the one that he put in charge. So men are in charge. We are helpmeet. And if he's not taking his role and you have taken it with everything you are and you don't have any more strength, please take a break. You owe nobody and your life. You owe your husband that is making your life miserable. You don't owe him your life. You don't owe the society your life. You don't owe the culture your life. You don't owe anyone that that is making you stay in that toxic marriage, in that marriage that is draining you in all forms. You don't owe them your life and what you should have become, because God will ask you, and you can't give him excuse. It's because of marriage. No, the Mama Dejuma will say that the destiny, the covenant of life is greater than the covenant of marriage. So you don't want to exchange your life, your destiny because of marriage. Guess what? If you die and the man meets Christ, and marry somebody
You just
else.
wasted.
You wasted your time, your head. You wasted purpose. You wasted God's investment in you. You have too much to give to the world, to give to God himself, than making marriage determine what will become of you. When you want to make decision, please make decision based on what God is saying and what you want, not every other person. Because let me tell you, no matter the decision you make, people will still talk. So choose right. Ma, do you have any conclusion?
I think you actually said everything. Yeah, sincerely, I'm just going to be repeating what you said, because life is a commitment, is an assignment given to an individual. When we get to heaven, she said there will be no marriage there. Like, everybody will stand before God and give account of what you did with the investment of time that God gave unto you. So coming into this earth, even marriage, everything that God gave you, you are going to account for it. How did you spend it? How did you use it? So you will not say you die in a marriage that did not allow you to fulfill your purpose. Just like I said, a woman, you are a nurturer. God gave you a womb to birth, but understand that you need to be alive to nurture. You need to stay alive to keep, to be that nurturer that God has made you. If you die in that state, somebody else will take over what you did not finish. And why would you just waste destiny? Just stand on your feet and make your decision. You know what is best for you, and you know what God has said concerning you. Fulfill purpose. Amen. And don't die in a toxic marriage.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming, Ma. I really
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for watching. I pray that any woman out there that is going through a lot in their marriage, may God give you strength. Amen. And may God give you grace to say no and move forward. Amen. In the name of Jesus. Amen. See you again in another video. Bye.
Bye.